Hello.
Good afternoon.
I think we're ready to get started. So, tomorrow, if you want to kick off.
Um, of course, yeah. Okay, so guys, welcome to Oaka Partner Insights, which is the first in our dynamic series of webinars, podcasts, and newsletters that we're tailoring to empower Microsoft partners. So, a little bit about us. Our mission at Oaka is to support your Microsoft alliance, your sales, your go-to-market, and your practice delivery and growth. Each engagement will delve into a focused topic, providing valuable insights and strategies to help you excel in critical areas that we see across our partner network. So we have circa 35 partners that we're working with currently, and this insights has been pulled together and created to be able to share what we're hearing from as a requirement from across our partner network. So the first in our series, we're going to be looking at the Oaka Academies, which Nigel and I have created together. So I'd like to welcome Nigel to step in and pick up, and we'll start looking at the academies and why we set the Oaka Academies up.
Okay, thanks for that, Tamara. The academies have really come out of some requests. As Tamara mentioned, we've got 35 Dynamics partners that we're working with at the moment, and we heard some of the same things again and again. And what they tended to consist of was that the skill levels needed to be developed, particularly in leadership and management, particularly in sales and sales strategy, including account management. I think a lot of our partners recognize that, perhaps they were good at finding new customers, but they weren't very good at developing the ones they had. Um, and finally, I've used the word commerciality there. I'm particularly thinking of commerciality in delivery teams. This is an area that crops up again and again, that the management of the Dynamics partners would like their delivery teams to be a bit more commercial than they are. Um, the technology side, most partners have pretty much in hand in terms of getting people the right certifications. But it's always worth remembering that, the latest technologies, be they, Copilot, what's happening there, or indeed the Dynamics products itself, are always evolving, so that always needs keeping up to date. But our focus is more on the leadership, management, and commercial skills around the organization. So we saw that there was a training need there. Tamara and I went off and, inspired by this model, and there are lots of models out there about how you evaluate good training. We saw that most of the training that is out there in the marketplace was really hovering around levels 1 and 2 in terms of this model. So it was um, getting people to look at the training and perhaps learn some skills. That in itself doesn't change behaviors, and it's only behavior changing that can make a lasting impact on businesses. So we wanted to build out a model that focused on changing behaviors in organizations in those areas of leadership and commercial skills. And this is, I guess, this is one of the ways to think about it. And perhaps you can think about this in terms of your own organization on a scale of 1 to 9. How critical is growth to you? And most people that we come across would probably rate that a 7 or 8 or a 9 out of 10,
Or
out of that. In terms of the second measurement is how hard is it to grow? Now, you know, sometimes the winds are behind you and you can grow at a good rate. Sometimes there are headwinds and it's really hard to grow. So we find that most people kind of score that a kind of 4 to 7 type range. Um, so we've determined that growth is important and it's not easy. And then the third question really is, how much time do you spend developing those commercial and leadership capabilities in your organization, both of which are going to help you with growth? And we tend to find that most people say to us that's between about a 1 and a 3. It's not an area of focus. Most of the training budget seems to go on technical skills, and not enough of it goes to generate the leaders of the future, and to make sure that your sales strategy, account management skills in the business are really as good as they ought to be. So combining those two things, we came up with a structure for our academies um, that has proven to be really, really successful. Um, Most training courses you go on, you spend a day or two learning some new skills, and then you come away from that with a load of good intentions, and 2 or 3 weeks later, half of it's forgotten, and within 6 months, probably 90% of it is forgotten. And it's this bit about turning um, turning learnings into behavior changes that is the most important thing. So the structure of our academies is that there is a boot camp at the beginning of each of them, and depending on which course, and I'll come to this in a minute, depending on which course, that boot camp will vary in length. And then a month later, we start our little and often sessions. And those sessions are 2.5 hours every 2 weeks, with a combination of surgeries where we do some group coaching on the skills that we've learned that thus far, interspersed with some new topics to finish off the training syllabus. And between those surgeries and new topics, and again, the number of those does depend per course, which I'll come to in a moment. But those things, those surgeries are what really changes behaviors, because people are held to account to put that training into practice, come along, discuss where they found things difficult, they need some further support, being coached by Tamara and I and the rest of the group. And that is what um, really makes the difference in terms of changing behaviors. Um, Tamara and I run all of these courses. We've developed the courses ourselves, and the ongoing engagements. Both of us are highly experienced and accredited coaches, and um, we're really passionate about making sure that this is all about behavior change rather than simply giving you a few tools that you may or may not use moving forward. The whole idea about this um, is to make these permanent behavior changes. So we've got 5 academies that we have developed so far. Let me just run through these. We have the leadership and management one, which is fantastic for either people who are um, maybe earmarked as a leader or manager of the future. Maybe it's somebody who is new in a management role. But I think it's also worth pointing out that even leaders and managers who have been in those positions for a long period of time, we find that too few of them have actually had any formal training and have either picked up skills from past bosses or trial and error or whatever. One of the things we've got to remember is that the number one reason that anybody leaves an organization is a bad boss. and some of the skills that we cover in here will ensure that you will have consistently good managers across your business. So um, sometimes it's not always easy for somebody to eat their pride when they've been a manager for 10 years and come along to some management training, but we've never found anybody who hasn't seen the value in doing that, particularly if they've not had any formal training before. That's a 2-day boot camp, and then we have 7 follow-on sessions, mixture of new topics and surgeries following on from that.
Just to jump in real quick, Nigel, I think it's
Sure.
worth pointing out there that a lot of the partners that we've worked with or we work with have come from technical people that have set up their own practices. So you've got that aspect, but you've also got from my perspective, I constantly looked at my toolbox, and it's like, what tools do I need to add? So it's not even that for me that it was a case of, am I good enough, or it's been a long time, my skills are out of date. It's more, what's evolved, what's changed, what is it that I don't know, that knowing so would make my role better, would make me be a better leader, have a better idea of, like, from the sales strategy perspective. So I mean, to encourage people to look at, where can your toolbox be better? Like, not that you're not good enough, but where can you expand? Because I mean, technology and life is moving at such a pace now that it's like, okay, what do I need to know this year that wasn't relevant last year? And the knowing it make me better.
And one of those key areas that's happened in the last few years is that most of the leaders and managers that I was doing this sort of thing with 7 or 8 years ago were all in the same office as their subordinates, as their staff members. Now they're almost certainly not. So, some of these, affect how you delegate things, how you deal with feedback to people. All of those sorts of things are covered, and we keep all the training materials bang up to date for the current scenarios. So just to give you a little bit idea of what's covered in there: delegation skills, giving feedback, perfect one-to-one, recruitment skills, situational leadership, understanding character types. There's 12 or 14 modules in there that we would go through to really cover all of the fundamentals of good management. So the second one is a shorter one with just 1-day boot camp and 3 follow-on sessions. This is for business and sales leaders and is all about sales and marketing strategy. As Tamara mentioned, a lot of our clients come from technicians who've moved into setting up their own business and are therefore running it, and don't have a background necessarily in sales and marketing, and haven't built out their team to deliver those things yet. So this is a kind of getting you from from nothing to a decent sales and marketing plan, the kind of things you've got to concentrate on, all in a fairly short period of time. Our longest course is the sales execution program. So this covers all of the skills required to be a good salesperson. It's a 2.5-day boot camp, 7 follow-on sessions. It could be that you've put people through sales training before. We find that that this is a good starting point for people who are just about to embark in a sales career, or people that you think have potential but they're not really quite firing on all cylinders yet. But that's a full sales program that by the time it's done is kind of 5 months long, and the skills are fully embedded with people by the time they finish that. The next one is looking at commercial and soft skills for delivery professionals. that it's not all delivery stuff, it's all delivery staff. So that's the error on this slide. But this is run as an in-house program. So if we can get access to your delivery staff for a couple of days and then these ongoing sessions, we can give them those skills that they need that will sit alongside their technical skills to make them really valuable to your business in a way that we don't see a lot of delivery professionals. Um, the final one is about account management. I mentioned before that a lot of the people we talk to are good at hunting and they're not that good at farming. And so this is taking potential account managers and current account managers. Sometimes this is people who have it as a secondary um, activity to their consultancy roles, but this is talking about all of the skills required to be effective account managers and make the most out of existing customer bases. Again, that's a 2-day boot camp with 5 follow-on sessions. So I'm sure you'll be wondering, so how much does this cost? Well, we offer 4 out of 5 of these programs as public courses, and these are the per delegate price for the entire program. So this covers the face-to-face boot camp, and then the follow-on sessions, which are teams, 2.5-hour Teams calls every 2 weeks. These are the prices for public courses, as I say, per delegate. Uh, Certainly, if an organization is sending multiple people along, or you want to put people on, uh, uh, you know, across a variety of these courses, then there's conversations to be had about a kind of volume discount, which we can take a look at. But these are the prices for our public courses. And we run all of the programs as in-house courses where you can engage us to deliver this program to your people, and you can put as many people as you like onto those courses. Obviously, for something like commercial and soft skills for delivery pros, if you've got 50 delivery people, it's unlikely you're going to be able to pull them all out for a 2-day boot camp. So sometimes we have to run that a couple of times, but we run all of the programs as in-house courses for as many people as you'd like to put on the program. So we thought it might be quite fun to actually give you a little bit of a taste about what working with us on one of these academies is like. And so we've picked out a topic from the leadership and management course to give you a little bit an idea of the quality and level of material that we work with. So I've picked out developing a high performing team, which is, as I say, one of the leadership and management modules. And so I'm going to just spend a few minutes talking about how to build a high performing team and to explore some of the research that's been done behind this that we found to be very effective. So McKinsey did some work. It's some time ago now. It's 20 years ago on how to build a high performing team. And what they did was survey um, tens of thousands of organizations around the world, all different industries, different geographies, different cultures, to find out what were the common factors that led to teams that were higher performing than others. And they discovered that there were 3 main dimensions that affected how high performing a particular team was. I'm going to cover the bottom two first because they're a bit more obvious. So the first is quality of interaction. This is about how the members of the team communicate with each other, and how the team as a whole communicates with external parties. And this is probably not that surprising. If you think of a sports team, let's take a cricket team where nobody spoke to each other for the duration of the match, chances are that that team wasn't going to be all that successful. So that's one dimension that McKinsey found to be very important. Next is quality of direction. So it was really important that everybody really understood what direction and what goals their team had. If you don't know where you're going and everybody's not clear of that, how are you possibly going to be effective on reaching that goal? So that's fairly obvious. It's the third dimension that is perhaps the one that is a little bit of a surprise. It's called quality of renewal. And I was thinking about this dimension the other day when I was dealing with a particular client of ours who has a top team who has been in tenure for a very long period of time. Like everyone is more than 5 years in the organization. Most people are nearer 10. What quality of renewal is all about is that the most effective teams freshen themselves up every so often. And there are a number of ways in which you can do that. So it could be that you uh, take people into the team on sabbatic on secondment, or you second people out of the team, or it could be that you purposefully hire in some fresh blood to freshen it up. You also can look at ways in which um, uh, the team operates. So you can do things in a slightly fresh way. Sometimes that might even be, we're not going to do team meetings on Teams or in the same office every time. We're going to go and do it, in a different way. We might do a walking team meeting or just something to freshen it up. Really helps with creating high performing teams. And under these three dimensions, there are 15 factors for the high performing team. So we're running a little short on time. Obviously, on the course, we were going through all of these in some detail. But I'd like to pick out a couple of them. So things like civilized disagreement, for instance. High performing teams do not agree with each other all the time. But equally, high performing teams don't have blazing rows with each other. Those sorts of things are very important, and everyone needs to feel like they have a voice. Most high performing teams have a certain informality for the way that they interact with each other. Um, which is quite interesting when you think of the armed forces, for instance. So, trying to work our way through some of those thought processes is the sort of thing that we might do when we get into this as a full training session. Just out of interest, there were two factors in these out of these 15 that had more of an impact than the others. So they were definitely numbers 1 and 2 in the list of 15. So the first one is a commitment to solving problems. That is everybody in the team being absolutely committed that when that team faced an issue of some sort, that they were going to resolve it. It wasn't something that was going to drag from team meeting to team meeting. We've all seen that, where we've got a list of actions that we go through in our team meetings, and it seems each week that most of them just get carried over to the next one. Well, that's not what high performing teams do. They solve those problems in a timely way. The other one, which almost no teams do in my experience, is actually self-assess how they're performing as a team. And as part of this training, we take each of these 15 factors and we've got a team audit, so people will they will score themselves against these 15 factors for the current team that they're working in, and they will take some of the lower scoring factors and turn that into a regular session where the team assesses itself and improvements against those individual factors. It, it sounds obvious, almost nobody does it, but actually being very reflective on how you're performing as a team is one of the biggest strengths of good teams. So I hope you found that interesting. Obviously, we go into a lot more detail on that, which is just one of 14 modules or so on the leadership or management course. But these things really get our delegates thinking and taking actions away to put into practice when they get back to the office, or obviously if it's an in-house course, they can start taking the actions there and then. So we're coming to the end of this session pretty shortly. I don't know whether we have had any questions so far. Tamara, have you spotted any?
Yes, hi Nige. So there was one question about how do people sign up or show interest, or like how if somebody has noticed, that the account management, I think, has been the course that most people have shown an interest in.
Yeah.
Because across our partners, as we've said, a lot of people are not so good at the farming element. So how do people get in? How do people?
Okay, so for the in-house courses, it's fairly obvious. You can deal with us directly, and we will organise running that course within your organisation. When it comes to the public courses, we found that the most effective thing to do is to take expressions of interest from people. So an organisation might come along to us and say, look, I want to put 2 people through your account management courses, and so we'll keep that list. Once we've got to about 5 delegates that have expressed an interest, then we can organise that course, and then we can also advertise to more people that there will be a course running on this date. So yeah, so it's so there are two things. If it's an in-house course, just let us know, and we'll and we can get that organised. But for public courses, we're taking expressions of interest, and then organising some dates once we get to a certain level. You're on mute, Tamara.
Of course I am. Someone had to say it. It had to be me. There was a question in the chat. Can we share the slides, of which I've confirmed that we'll do that afterwards. So we'll share the slides, and if you've got any questions and you'd like to organise a call to go into a little bit more depth, then please reach out to one of us, and we'll set up an introduction session so we can find out a little bit more about what's going on in the business and which of the courses might be relevant.
Yeah,
we can also sorry Nige, we've had a
sorry, I was just going to say, tomorrow might also be a good idea to add on to the slides the list of modules that are in each of those courses, so people get a full picture of what's included in each one.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that for the in-house courses, we have had people pick in and lift in different, like we'll share a list of the modules, and it may be that in an in-house course you want to do account management, but you want to add commercial skills for delivery people, or one of the leadership modules or something like that. So we're able to tailor any in-house courses. Typically, we like to keep the in-house courses to about 15-ish, just for interaction and engagement. But obviously, depending on what the course is, we can certainly accommodate slightly more by bringing in additional people to support that, or by running multiple courses.
Liam, have you got another question?
Oh, hi guys, thanks for that. Will the video be available?
Yeah,
publicly.
Yeah, I believe it gets it'll get sent through to you once the call's ended.
Oh, great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how quickly it is, but it will. The recording goes to everyone that's registered, Liam. So let us know if you don't get it, and we'll make sure that we get that across to you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, on that basis, it just remains for me to thank you for your time. I hope you found that interesting. We've got a lot more detail behind all of this, but we're starting to find these courses are gaining in popularity. So thank you for your time today, and we'll get any further information out to you.
Just one last thing, Nige, from me. I plan to start the call with an apology because we had a mix-up in our social media posting with times. So if you listen to this from the recording and you tried to join at 1 o'clock, our sincere apologies for not getting that correct. So it was picked up and we thought we'd updated it. So not the best start to our first engagement, getting the time wrong, but everyone will get the video, and yeah, we're available if you'd like to reach out so that we can get a one-to-one call in and answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks for your time, everybody. I will leave you to the rest of this sunny afternoon. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.